The Texans season was ended by the Colts last weekend, and it's disappointing, but it is what it is. It's time to just move on to the offseason, and the first video for the offseason, we got a little season recap. Obviously after the 0-3 start, everyone, including myself, was panicking. And if you're one of those people that's gonna come in here and say, I wasn't panicking, I knew we were gonna come back, well, then you're delusional, because teams don't come back from 0-3. What the Texans did was historic. If you actually believed that this team was gonna come back and go to the playoffs after that 0-3 start, after the way they were playing those first 3 games, you're delusional. But yeah, that 0-3 start, it was bad. Even then, when we won that first game versus the Colts, that was bad. The second game versus the Cowboys, that was bad. The third win versus the Bills, I think that one was probably the worst. It was just bad. It wasn't up until we played week 7 against Jacksonville where, teams started playing a little bit better. Then, we came back home to play Miami and, another solid win. And then we played Denver. And, that was another close win, but I thought that was another solid win. Went to the bye week at, what was our record? 6-3. So, obviously winning 6 in a row after the 0-3 start, I thought that was, damn, that's crazy. Yeah, at that point, we were leading the division, so, that was amazing. And then, we went on to win 3 more against, what was it, Washington, Tennessee, and then Cleveland. So we had our win streak at 9, then it was ended by the Colts. So we lost to the Colts in a pretty ugly fashion. We just didn't perform that game for whatever reason. And then, of course, we played the Jets. That was an ugly win. That was probably the game I was most pissed about all season. And then we had that shootout with the Eagles, or comeback / shootout, whatever you want to call it, versus the Eagles. Obviously Nick Foles drove down the field late in the game, and Jake Elliott kicked the field goal. If we would have stopped them, we still would have been in the playoffs. It kind of still hurts a bit, but whatever, it is what it is. And then we finished the season versus Jacksonville at home, and we were able to get the win. And then obviously the playoff game, yikes. I don't know if this playoff game should be one of the ones we don't talk about, similar to the Kansas City one, but overall, personally, I think this season was a huge success. I know there's people on Twitter saying, fire O'Brien, do this, do that, hire this guy, Dabo Swinney to Houston. There's people saying some outrageous stuff. I've seen some people say, man, the Texans are, a franchise of mediocrity. Seriously, you want mediocre? Go look at the Bengals. Go look at the Jaguars, the Titans, all these other teams. That's mediocre. The Texans, they're not mediocre. Because to me, mediocre means below average, not of good quality. I'm not saying we're, this franchise that is the best ever. I'm not saying we're the Patriots. But mediocre, that's the Buccaneers. We ain't mediocre, so yeah, stop it. I've seen some people say, man, the Titans are going to get better and the Jaguars are going to get better too. And the Colts are obviously really good right now. Man, the Texans are going to finish 4th place in the division next season. Shut the hell up, dude. This team went 11-5. This team went 11-5. Yeah, you could talk about the easy schedule, but guess what? Indy, Jacksonville, Tennessee, they all had the same exact schedule. What are the Texans the only team that isn't allowed to draft and build through free agency? What, are we not invited to that? Like, I don't get it, man. Like, I swear, some people over exaggerate from some of these things, and to me, that's their own fault. Because going into the season, you gotta set some realistic expectations on your team. Seriously. I know a lot of people actually believe the cliche saying, Super Bowl or bust. Some people actually live by that and believe that. They believe every season should end in a Super Bowl. Imagine if every fan actually thought that way. That'd all be insane. Seriously, like, about 70% of the Texans fan base thinks that way. You gotta learn to, just set some realistic expectations on your team. And that's my advice to you guys. If you guys are, upset by the outcome of the season, then you probably set expectations that were way too high. Me, what I do, like, about every preseason, like, before week 1, for sure, I set some expectations on the Texans for the season. I don't think I said my expectations in a video or in a live stream or anything. So my expectations for this season were a record better than 9-7. That's simple. 10-6, I would have taken that. But that wasn't all. To me, the one that really mattered was the growth of Deshaun Watson. So when I was thinking of, realistic expectations for this team, number one was I was expecting this team to finish better than 9-7, and I was expecting Deshaun to grow as a quarterback. Well, obviously, 11-5, better than 9-7. Deshaun, you can look at the stats. I mean, I don't like stats that much, but if you just look at the stats, Deshaun's a better quarterback than he was last season. If you watch the games, Deshaun was a better quarterback than he was last season. Yeah, the touchdown ratio wasn't that high, but we all knew that wasn't going to be sustainable. We all knew that was going to take a dip. But in the end of it all, I mean, I wasn't disappointed by the season because my expectations were met. Deshaun improved as a quarterback. Our team finished with a better record. I didn't set any playoff expectations because, you don't know who you're going to play in the first round. What if we would have played the Patriots, or what if we would have had a first round bye? You don't know what you're going to get in the playoffs, so you don't know how healthy your team is going to be going into the playoffs or any of that. So I usually don't set expectations for the playoffs until we actually get into the playoffs. And the second we had the Colts matched up against us, I knew it was going to be a tough game. Obviously I am disappointed that we didn't show up. But overall in the season, I am pleased with the outcome. Deshaun's a better quarterback, and we finished better than we have before under O'Brien. And obviously it's time to improve the O-line some more. This time get some corners. We already got the safeties last offseason. And since we're on a topic of expectations, let's talk about this offensive line, these DBs, and just the season in general. I mean, seriously, did you seriously expect the Super Bowl behind this O-line with this secondary? I mean, we all knew what our weaknesses were. The O-line, we didn't fix it, but guess what? We addressed it. Last season, week 17, we only had one guy on the offensive line that was worth a starting spot, or that had earned a starting spot the following season, and that was Nick Martin. Well, guess what? at the end of this season, I see two guys that have clearly earned their spot for next season. That's Nick Martin again and Zach Fulton. So now you build on that. You already built on what you had the previous year. You added another good offensive lineman with Nick Martin. Now you build on that. You don't completely blow it up, because guess what? You don't build an offensive line in one off season. We knew going into the season, going into the off season after last season, everyone knew that this offensive line wasn't going to be fixed in 1 year. It was going to take 2 years, maybe even 3 years. Same thing with the secondary. Guess what? Season ended last year. It was the worst secondary in the league. This year, still pretty bad, but not as bad as it was last year. I mean, this past off season, we got Justin Reed and Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu is probably most likely staying. Justin Reed, the guy's going to be a all-pro safety. Like, okay, last offseason we fixed the safety spot. Now it's on to the corners. Get the corners. And that's what some people don't understand. Some people seem to think it's just, man, go get these guys in free agency and, go draft this guys and boom, it's all fixed. No. It's a work in progress. It's a process. You just gotta be patient. Be patient. If you were expecting a Texans Super Bowl with this offensive line, this secondary, I don't know what to tell you. You set some unrealistic expectations on the team. If you were expecting Deshaun Watson to carry this team on his back all season long, then that's kind of messed up. He's 23 years old. He's still learning. Those are some unrealistic expectations. To me, the season was a success. Now it's on to the offseason. Build the O-line. Continue building it. Get some corners. A lot of people were mad. It's like, man, nothing changes. Same old Texans. That's false. Because in previous seasons, the Brock Osweiler season, the Brian Hoyer season, after our playoff games, we were left with the same question. What do we do at quarterback? Who do we sign? Do we draft someone? Do we trade up for someone? We were left with that question. This time around, it's not. We have our franchise quarterback, Deshaun Watson. He's going to get better. For whatever reason, some people think this is it for Deshaun. He's not going to get better. Like, dude, he's 23. Calm down. Like, he's going to improve. And it's important for us to keep building around our young quarterback. We get Will Fuller back next season. Hopefully we get him some more weapons. Hopefully Jordan Thomas and Jordan Akins improve. Hopefully maybe another running back. Maybe Foreman can come back. Obviously get him a better O-line. Add on to Nick and Zach. Secondary, improve that, because Lord knows our corners are old. Joseph, I love you. You should probably one day be in the Ring of Honor. But it's time to hang him up. Kareem, he did a good job at safety, but he ain't a corner. Sharice Wright, guy gets beat by double moves all day, every day. Kayvon Webster played like 5 snaps and got hurt twice in between those 5 snaps. Aaron Colvin, from what I heard, the reason he didn't play was because he wasn't fully healed. So that, they just went with the healthiest 46, and Colvin wasn't one of them. Hopefully they ain't lying to us, because I really like Colvin. Colvin is a good nickel corner. So, obviously, you got to keep improving the roster. It's not the same old Texans. Same old Texans would have folded after 0-3. That simple. But yeah, to me, this season was a huge success. Comment down below whatever you guys think of the season. Do you guys think the season was a success or a failure? Just the season as a whole. Like, not the way it ended, but just the season as a whole. Because if you talk about the way it ended, obviously, you know, we're all going to be disappointed because obviously, you know, you expect the team to show up to a playoff game, but, you know, who knows? You know, maybe the Colts are going to go out to win the Super Bowl. Maybe they're that good. Maybe we lost to the Super Bowl champions. Who knows? Like, who knows? Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.